Have you ever noticed how some people can say yes with a smile, even when their stomach is screaming no? And the moment they finally try to refuse, guilt hits like a wave. Not because the request was fair, but because saying no feels like being a bad person. Maybe it shows up in tiny moments. A friend asks you to hop on a call, your boss drops a last-minute task, a family member wants a favor you cannot afford. Your brain already knows the answer, but your mouth buys time. Sure, I will figure it out. If that is you, listen closely. This is not weakness, it is psychology. And once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Today, we are decoding the psychology of people who feel guilty saying no, why the word no feels dangerous, why your body reacts like you are doing something wrong, and how to stop confusing boundaries with cruelty. Picture this. Someone asks for a favor. You are tired, busy, or just not in the mood. You want to say no, but your mouth says sure. Then you replay it all night. You feel resentment, then shame. And you promise yourself, next time you will speak up. Next time arrives, and you do it again. Sometimes the guilt is instant. Sometimes it comes later, like a slow leak. You are in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking, why did I agree? Why can everyone else say no so easily? And why do I feel like I owe the world my comfort? So what is really happening? 1. You learn that love is conditional. A lot of guilt around no starts in childhood, not always with obvious trauma. Sometimes it is subtle. Praise only when you are helpful. Warmth only when you agree. Attention only when you behave. Your brain links approval to survival. In attachment theory, when connection feels uncertain, you become hyper-aware of what keeps people close. So, you become agreeable. You become easy. You become the person who causes no trouble. Now, adult you is not just declining a request. Adult you is risking connection. The nervous system does not care that you are safe now. It remembers the old rule. If I disappoint, I might be abandoned. That is why guilt shows up before logic. It is your inner alarm trying to prevent rejection, even when the person asking is not threatening at all. Your body is basically saying, choose the bond, not the boundary. And this creates a specific personality habit, high agreeableness mixed with fear of loss. You feel responsible for other people's feelings, even when you did not create them. 2. You confuse guilt with empathy. Empathy is feeling with someone. Guilt is feeling responsible for someone. And many people who struggle to say no have trained themselves to carry emotional weight that is not theirs. It often comes from being the emotional temperature regulator in the room, the peacemaker, the fixer, the one who senses tension first. Over time, you develop emotional intelligence, but it is paired with anxiety. You can predict how someone might react, so your brain runs the simulation. If I say no, they will be hurt. If they are hurt, they will be mad. If they are mad, they will leave. So I must prevent it. This is called catastrophizing, a cognitive distortion. You jump from a simple boundary to a worst-case ending. And because you can imagine their disappointment vividly, you mistake imagination for reality. There is also the spotlight effect. You assume everyone is watching and judging your choice. So you try to be the good person on camera, even when nobody is filming. Here is the twist. You might be kind, but you might also be controlling, because you are trying to control how other people feel, so you can feel safe. Real empathy can survive a no. People-pleasing cannot. 3. The reciprocity trap keeps you locked in. There is a social rule most humans follow. If someone gives, you give back. Psychologists call it the norm of reciprocity. It is one of the strongest forces in social behavior. If someone helps you once, your brain stores a debt, not a logical debt, an emotional one. So when they ask for something, saying no feels like stealing, even if you never asked them to help you, even if their help came with strings. Some people weaponize this without saying it. They do favors loudly. They keep score. They remind you. And suddenly, your no feels like betrayal. This is also why you over-explain. You do not just say no. You build a courtroom defense. You offer excuses, apologies, alternate plans, because you want to pay the debt in words. But the more you over-explain, the more your brain confirms the belief, no is unacceptable unless I justify it. And the next request feels even harder. 4. Your self-worth is tied to being needed. This one is painful, but freeing. Some people feel valuable only when they are useful. So when they say no, they feel worthless. This is identity-based guilt. It is not about the request. It is about who you think you are allowed to be. Maybe you were the responsible one in the family, the mature one, the helper, the strong one. You got rewarded for caring more than you should. So now, when you set a boundary, it feels like you are breaking character, and your brain panics. If I stop giving, what do I offer? This connects to the concept of self-schema, a mental story about you. If your story is, I am the one who shows up, then no feels like lying. So your inner critic steps in and whispers, selfish, lazy, ungrateful. And if you have rejection sensitivity, the fear doubles. Rejection-sensitive people scan for signs they are not wanted. A single frown can feel like proof. Your brain uses the availability heuristic. It remembers the time someone got upset, and it predicts it will happen again. So you trade short-term comfort for long-term exhaustion, because being needed feels safer than being honest. 5. You were trained to avoid conflict, not build boundaries. Many guilt-driven yes people are not afraid of the word no. They are afraid of what comes after. The sigh, the awkward silence, the passive-aggressive joke, the sudden coldness, the delayed reply that feels like punishment. So your nervous system associates boundaries with conflict, and conflict with danger. If you grew up in a home where anger was unpredictable, you might have learned a survival strategy called fawning. You appease to stay safe. You smile to reduce risk. You agree to keep the peace. Even in healthy environments, culture can train this, especially for women, caretakers, and eldest children. You are taught to be polite, not protected. To be considerate, not clear. So when you try to say no, your body reacts. Heart faster, throat tight, hands sweaty. Not because no is wrong, but because your body expects punishment. Now here is the part nobody tells you. Guilt is not always a moral signal. Sometimes it is just a conditioning signal, a leftover feeling from old rules. So what do you do with this? Notice the moment guilt appears, right when the request lands. That is your cue that an old script is activating. Name it. This is fear of rejection. This is fear of conflict. This is my old training. Buy yourself 2 seconds. Instead of answering instantly, say, let me check and get back to you. That tiny pause breaks the automatic yes. It gives your prefrontal cortex a chance to speak. Practice a no that does not invite negotiation. Simple, warm, final. Try. I cannot do that. I am not available. I will have to pass. No long story. No apology that sounds like you harmed them. Tolerate the discomfort, because discomfort is the price of honesty. At first, your brain will scream you are selfish. That is just cognitive dissonance. Your new behavior does not match the old identity, so your mind tries to pull you back. Separate empathy from responsibility. You can care about their feelings without carrying them. You can say, I understand this is frustrating, and still keep your boundary. Watch who reacts badly to your no. Healthy people might be disappointed, then move on. Unhealthy people will punish you. They will guilt trip, withdraw, or attack. That reaction is data. It reveals why you felt unsafe. Because the truth is, your no is a filter. It shows who loves you for you, and who loves you for what you provide. Now let's close this with one powerful reframe. Saying no is not rejection, it is direction. It is you steering your life back to yourself. Every time you say yes out of guilt, you teach your brain that your needs are negotiable. Every time you say no with calm, you teach your brain that your needs matter. Over time, your nervous system learns a new association. No equals safety. No equals self-respect. no equals space to breathe. And one day, the guilt gets quieter, not because you became colder, but because you became clearer. If this felt like someone finally put words to your experience, stay here. Subscribe for more psychology that helps you understand people and understand yourself. And next time you are about to say yes with a tired smile, pause. Ask yourself one question. Am I choosing this? Or am I escaping guilt?